Hello, dear students. I hope you all are safe and healthy. My name is Ankita, and I am teaching as an assistant professor in Department of Bachelor's of Computer Application at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurugram. I welcome all of you to the lecture 11 of my online lecture series of object-oriented programming using C++. And in this video, we will study the rest of the part of exception handling from Unit 4th. And before this, in previous lecture we have studied about the exception handling basics and the various keywords used for the writing exception handling program or function. I have included this exception handling model to take the review from previous lecture. So these are three blocks, or you can say three building blocks of writing any exception handling mechanism. So when a program encounters an abnormal situation for which it is not designed basically, and the user in that case may transfer the control to some other part of the program that is designed to deal with the problem, and the this is done using the throwing an exception mechanism. So what happens? This mechanism uses three blocks: try block, throw block, and catch block. Try block must be followed immediately by the handler, and which is a catch block basically. If an exception is thrown in the try block, the program control is transferred to the exception handling um, mechanism or exception handler. So the program in that case should attempt to catch the exception that is thrown by any function. So the relationship of these three exception handling constructs called the exception handling model. So in this model, all the functionality of these three keywords are summarized. Okay, so you can write try block inside any function or inside the main function as well. Any function can throw exception, whether it is main function or any user defined function which a user writes. In this video, we will see how the exception handling is related, or how the exception handling is written in the case of base classes and derived classes. We will see again specifying an exception, rethrowing mechanism of an exception. So before that, what is exception handling? These are the basically anomalies that occur during the normal flow of program and prevent it from continuing from the normal execution of the program. So these are the situations which takes your program into some other direction, and whatever output you expect from your program, it will not produce that output, but it will produce some other output which was not expected by the programmer. So these anomalies may be generated by users, logics with what we write, or the system errors maybe, or any function can also detect these anomalies. So if the detecting function cannot deal with the anomaly, it just throws the exception. In previous video we have seen the what are the errors, what are the bugs, and how the exceptions occur, what are the different types of exceptions. We also saw few examples by running them into the online editor. So we will again see some examples. We will run those examples in online editor. So in C++, when the exception is thrown, it cannot be ignored. There must be some way of the notification or the termination of the program. So whenever any exception occurs, there should be some mechanism through which you can inform the system or inform the programmer that something unexpected has occurred, so it should be resolved. Okay, so exception handling will just inform the user. It will not take the appropriate action, because after all program is written by the programmer, so programmer itself should incorporate some code that will handle the exception. For example, consider the case of divide by 0. If mistakenly we have given the value of denominator 0, so in that case the program should inform you that you have given the value of the denominator as 0, so it will produce the divide by 0 error. On the next run, programmer should change the input from 0 to something positive integer. By that method you can correct the problem or the issue due to which exception occurred. Okay, so programmer exception handling mechanism with the help of try, throw, catch, they will inform you that the exception has occurred into your program. Or as we know that exceptions are the unexpected behavior or abnormal situations or any circumstance which we did not design, but it occurred suddenly inside your program. So this is actually expensive compared to the ordinary program flows such as loops or if statements. If exception handling mechanism is written to deal with the ordinary situations that are unusual, and exceptions are particularly helpful in dealing with the situations that cannot be handled locally. So instead of propagating error status throughout the program, we can transfer the control directly to the point where the error can be handled. So instead of carrying out the exception throughout your program, there must be some way to transfer your control on that point where the actual exception occurred. Okay, so for example, a function might have the job of opening a file and initializing some associated data. But if the file cannot be opened or it is corrupted, the function cannot do its job. So, however, that function might not have enough information to handle the problem. So, the function in that case can throw an exception object that describes the problem and transfers the control to the earlier point inside the program, so that from the beginning we can correct the issues or correct the problem. So the exception handler might automatically have a backup file, query the user for the another file to try or shut down. So these are the probable solutions which we can provide in terms to correct this problem. So because this function was not opening a file, so exception handler will we can generate some information like use the backup files or query the user for another file to try or shut down the program gracefully. So due to these informations, we can inform the user also that exception has occurred, and it will provide you the possible ways through which you can avoid the or you can resolve the exceptions. So exception handling uses these three keywords: try, catch, and throw. Try block is a group of C++ statements enclosed in the curly braces that might cause an exception, and this grouping restricts exception handlers to exceptions generated within the try block. Each try block has one or more associated catch blocks with it. So if you think that certain piece of code can generate an exception, you will write that code or you will call that function inside the try block, and by writing that function inside the try block, you will just inform the you will just do that key there might be an exception. So that's why I'm writing that particular code, or I'm calling that function inside the try block. Every try block is having one catch block associated with it. Catch block is the actually providing solution, and try block carries the statements or the functions within which you think that exception can occur. And catch block is a group of C++ statements that are used to handle a specific thrown exception. One or more catch blocks can be there that should be placed after each try block. We can have multiple catch also in our program. We have seen that in previous video. The keyword catch contains the parameters enclosed with the parentheses, which corresponds to a specific type of exception that may be thrown by the try block. So try block will always throw one object, and the catch will have that object inside its parentheses. A group of statements enclosed in the braces, curly braces, whose purpose is to handle the exception, and these curly braces will carry the information that an exception has occurred or what was the problem. You will just print the message there. So the throw statements are used to throw an exception and its value to a subsequent exception handler. A regular throw consists of the keyword throw and the expression. So the result type of the expression determines which catch block receives control. Within a catch block, the current exception and value may be rethrown simply by specifying the throw keyword alone. Okay, so any catch block can in turn throw an exception. So usually the throw block is written inside the try block, but a catch block again can have the throw statement that is known as rethrowing an exception. So this is the scenario in which these three keywords work. This is the try block within the curly braces. This is the throw statement. Throw contains any expression or the variable due to which you think that exception can occur, might occur. This will jump the control to the catch block with which this variable will be matched. For example, there is an integer value, then data type should be integer, and there will be the argument list. Just in the case of a normal user defined function, you write the definition like this and you call the function like this. So there is just one difference, that you will not write this variable inside the parenthesis. You have to just write the throw keyword and then the object which is throwing an exception, or you can say the throws an exception value. So these are generally known as objects. So here in the previous video I included the example divide by 0. So here we will see the array reference out of bound. Here we have taken one array class which is having one array of size maximum. So let's run this program on the online editor. Here I am using the online GDB editor. You can use any of the online editor in which you are comfortable. So I have written the complete program. Okay, so when we run this particular program we get this output. Let me run this program again. So see what we have done here. We have taken one array which is of size max, and with the help of hash define we have define the size of max as 5. So here we have taken one operator overloading. From this example you will be able to get the idea how do we overload the array subscript also. So this is the array subscript which we are overloading using operator keyword operator function, and we are passing reference as the return type in this particular operator function. You can either use a normal function or you can pass reference as the return type in the function. There is no problem. So there is one argument in this function. What is happening? We are overloading subscript operator, and it will check if i's value is less than 0 or i's value is maximum or equal i's value is greater than or equal to maximum, then throw exception. If this any of this condition is satisfied, what we are trying to say here, that if max value is less than 0 or greater than 5, then it will throw an exception. It shows that the I value must be within the bound of 5 only. So if it exceeds or if it is less than 0, then it will throw the exception. So here we have seen return throw and then I is the object due to which or in which the exception is occurring. So return else, otherwise it will return AI, no problem. So in main function we have created one object here. This is the X object, and in the try function what we have done, we are just trying to refer to A1. So first, if I want to access the location A1, okay, the ith value 1, if I want to access, what will happen? So by this expression I am calling the operator function. If you remember, in operator overloading in main function, whenever we use that particular operator, then operator function automatically gets called. So here I have used the subscript, so operator function will be called. So we have written this function above, then it will get called as we use this particular. So what it will see that its value is 3, then it will check if I value is less than, no, this condition is false, so it will return AI simply. Okay, so it will just consider I is equal to 1, value is 3. So if I am trying to access X13, so what is happening here? Actually the bound was 5, but I am trying to access the value 13. But what then in this case what it will do? It will throw an exception that this value or this array bound does not exist, or this index value does not exist. So it will go to the if part. Yes, it is greater than maximum. I is greater than 5. I is greater than 5. Then it will throw the I, and it will just print the, it will from here it will jump onto this block. It will print this message out of range in the array reference. So for the next run you will keep in mind that this value should be replaced with some other values. For example, I replace 13 with the 4. Then if I run this program, what it will do, it will not throw any exception here. Okay, so I will just change the message here as well. Okay, so what is happening now? I value relies in between 0 and 0 to 5. So it will not throw any exception. In earlier case I was trying to access the index value 13, but if that value doesn't exist, how it is going to display or assign? In that case it was throwing an exception. So this is the throw object due to which the exception occurred. Or you have to usually mention the variable or any expression here or any function here due to which you think that exception can occur. So this is a function. Inside a function you can also throw an exception. Okay, so in try block you have to mention the, or you have, see what I'm doing here, I'm calling this operator function here with the help of this subscript operator. So operator function, operator overloading says that whenever we use that operator inside the main function, that function, operator function, gets called automatically. So in this case also it will call the operator function again. Okay, so this was the complete program. You can see the output here. Second time no exception occurred, but when I was trying to access any value which is out of bound, then it was throwing an exception. So see here again, out of the range in array references. So if 10th value, ith value of 10th does not exist, that's why it is not showing any value, or it is throwing the exception. So let's come on to the content back. So next topic is specifying an exception. Specifying an exception says we can also specify an exception in terms of our own rules. Like it is possible to restrict the function to throw only specific exceptions also. So in this what was happening, the array of bound problem was handling through the exception handling method, and this was the integer array. And we can also restrict our program to handle specific type of exceptions, like if we want that it should handle the exceptions other than integer and double, then I have to restrict my exception function like this. So it is possible to restrict a function to throw only certain specific exceptions, and this is done by specific throw list to the function definition. So this is the function definition. If I write it in this manner, with this definition, if I write throw, and in the parentheses if I write some data types, so it will throw an exception other than these data types. So I am restricting the throw to these int and double. It will not display exceptions thrown by integer or the double. It will throw the exceptions for the other data types other than this int and double. So consider this example here. This is int a. If a is equal to 1, then it will throw a exception of integer type. Else if a is equal to 2, it will throw an exception of character type. If a is equal to 3, then it will throw the exception of float type. Okay, so in main function, this is the user defined function, and in main function, when I call this function, as I said, in try block we can call the other function also, in which you expect that exception might occur or exception ho sakta hai. So in that case I have written this or called that demo function inside the try block. Catch statement goes like this: catch int n, and cout says exception caught, otherwise it will end the program. Okay, so catch function gets called if the parameters matched with the throw statement. So here we have integer exception. So if any exception is thrown for the integer number, this catch will handle only that integer exception. It will not handle any character exception or float exception. If I have taken here integer data type, it will handle only the integer type exception. Okay, so let's run this program. So this is the complete program. Now we have to see the difference between the previous program and in this program. So let's run this program. Okay, so this editor takes the main as the integer function. Run this program again. What is happening here? See, we restricted the throw to int and double. It is not going to throw exception related to integer and double. So what is left? That is character. So what is happening, I also told you in the previous lecture that if no catch statement is matched, the abort function will be called automatically. Here we have written integer catch only. Here we have written catch for the integer data type. In this case, it will not found any exception written for character. So as you can see, we have taken here integer type exception, but we have restricted integer here. So throw will not going to throw exception for integer and the double type. So it is, and on the other hand, it is not finding the exception for the or catch block for the character types. In that case, it is showing this message. So abort function will be called, the program will be terminated. Okay, so it is showing you the proper message that exception occurred and program is aborted. The terminate, see the output, terminate called after throwing an instance of char. So what is happening here? We call the demo function. Demo gets called if a is equal to 0, a is equal to 2, then this condition is satisfied. Which one is this? Okay, so integer was left and float was left. So what it should have done? It should have switched on to the catch block which was having the character type, but here it did not find any character type exception handling mechanism inside the catch block. Then it got aborted. See, aborted code dumped. So it also informing you that it is throwing an exception of instance character, but it did not, because it did not find any catch block for the character, so that's why it got aborted. Next topic is rethrow an exception. Rethrowing an exception is also possible where we have some inner and outer try catch statements, or you can say nested try catch, an exception to be thrown from inner catch block to the outer catch block. In previous video also we saw one example. So in this, understand this with the help of this diagram. This is a try block. Try block again have some other try catch block. It is called the nested try catch block. It is throwing the value and it is having its appropriate catch block also inside this try block, and it is again catch block inside inner catch block can also throw the exception for to its outer catch block. So in this case what is happening, it is rethrowing the exception value. Okay, so in this case throw is written as it is, it will not contain any parameter. So this catch block is again throwing an exception. You can also say the exception is causing another exception to be occurred. That's why this catch block is rethrowing the exception again towards its outer catch block. So this is the mechanism how it works. This is the outer try catch block and this is the inner try catch block. Try block is throwing value and it is going to the catch block, but catch handling mechanism also contain one exception that it in turn can throw any other exception. In that case it will rethrow the exception by writing just through. It need not to specify any object here like we did in this case. Okay, so when a throw exception generates an exception and transfers the control to the outer try catch block, it is known as the rethrowing an exception. So in this program, see what is happening here. Inside a try block we have one try block. It is throwing a and it is having its associated catch block which is of integer type. A is again of integer type. It will jump the control from here to this catch block, and in this catch block it will print the message exception caught inside the inner try catch block, and then it will again throw the exception. So in this case it is throwing the exception of this integer type. And see, there are two ways to rethrow an exception. You can either write the object also, or you can also use this throw keyword as it is without any object. We have seen such example in previous lecture also. So this is the outer try catch block. So the jump will be into this catch block and it will print this message, and then end of the program will occur. Okay, this is the output of this program. And try this one also. If I am writing no object here, it will automatically throw the exception. So run this program again. Okay, as you can see the output is same. So while rethrowing an exception, if you are writing any object or if you are not writing any object, it is understood this throw statement will rethrow the exception to the outer catch block only. Okay, so let's move on to the content back. So this is the output. I have written the output here. This is the example from the previous lecture. So we have run this program in the previous lecture also. I would like all of you to run this program at your own. Okay, so we can also write exceptions for the base classes and derived classes. Since it is possible to throw classes as exceptions and classes can be derived from other classes also, we need to consider what happens when we use inherited classes as the exceptions. So this is the example. Base class, we have one base class constructor. This is derived class derived from the base class. Main function contains try block, which is throwing the derived class as an exception. Okay, so this try block is having this catch is for first time it is written for base class object, and then the second time it is written for the derived class object. So what will be the output? So in this case, the very first catch statement which is encountered by the compiler will be executed first. That's why it is showing the output as caught base. So we will run this program. So run this program. As we run this program, it is showing base. Let's discuss it in a layman language. See, मेरे पास यहाँ base class है और एक derived class है. I have written try block inside the main function. I am throwing the derived class first here, but in the first catch block I have given the argument for the base class. Okay, so and on the second and मैंने यहाँ पर derived class का object दिया है. तो output क्या आ रहा था हमारा? बेस क्लास. बिकॉज सी यहाँ पर मैंने डिराइव्ड क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट किया, डिराइव्ड क्लास को एज एन एक्सेप्शन थ्रो किया है. इवन देन इट इज़ कॉलिंग द बेस क्लास बिकॉज डिराइव्ड क्लास बेस क्लास में से निकली है. सो अगर फर्स्ट पोजीशन पर इसे बेस क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट मिल जाता है एज इन द कैच, तो इट विल एग्जीक्यूट द कैच ब्लॉक ऑफ द बेस क्लास. सो इफ़ आई चेंज इट विद, और इन द प्रीवियस एग्जाम्पल जो हमने अभी इससे पहले लिखा था वो हम दोबारा से यहाँ पर लिख देंगे. हम इसको चेंज कर देते हैं. I will just remove this from here and इसको मैं यहाँ पर add कर दूँगी. So in this case what will happen here? अब मैं इसे रन करती हूँ तो derived class मैंने as an exception throw किया है. तो first इसको जो derived class का है obviously पहले नंबर पे इसको उस टाइम पे बेस मिल रहा था, क्योंकि बेस भी हमारा derived से associated है, क्योंकि derived बेस से ही हमने derive किया है ना. तो इसीलिए यहाँ पर उस टाइम पर बेस को भी वो कॉल कर रहा था. लेकिन अब यहाँ पर क्या होगा, सेकंड टर्न पर ये जाएगा ही नहीं, सेकंड कैच पर ये जाएगा ही नहीं. यहाँ पर भी हम कह सकते हैं कि इसको जो है, क्योंकि ये डिराइव्ड बेस से ही निकला है इसीलिए इसको रन कर देना चाहिए. लेकिन एक थ्रो स्टेटमेंट के लिए एक ही कैच एग्जीक्यूट होगा. तो फर्स्ट इसको अपना जो डिराइव्ड का मिला उसने उसको एग्जीक्यूट कर दिया, इसीलिए ये आउटपुट दिखा रहा है कैच कोट डिराइव्ड. सो इफ आई चेंज दिस डिराइव विद द बेस क्लास एक्सेप्शन, सो अब इस केस में क्या आउटपुट आएगी हमारी? ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द रिलेशनशिप ऑफ इनहेरिटेंस एज वेल. बट हम यहाँ पे जब डिराइव लिख रहे थे तो पहले जो उसे मिल रहा था उसे एग्जीक्यूट कर रहा था. लेकिन जब मैं यहाँ पर बेस को एज एन एक्सेप्शन थ्रो कर रही हूँ तो उस केस में वो फर्स्ट वाले को एग्जीक्यूट नहीं करेगा, वो अपने बेस वाले को ही देखेगा, क्योंकि डिराइव्ड बेस से निकली है, बेस डिराइव्ड क्लास से नहीं निकला है. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? डिराइव्ड बेस क्लास से निकला है लेकिन बेस क्लास डिराइव्ड से नहीं निकला है. इसीलिए ये फर्स्ट कैच को छोड़ करके, फर्स्ट कैच का इससे कोई रिलेशनशिप नहीं है, इस डिराइव्ड क्लास का बेस से रिलेशनशिप है, इसीलिए ये इस केस में बेस क्लास को एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. ओके, सो आई थिंक अभी ये क्लियर हो गया होगा आपको कि हम एक्सेप्शन जब हम बेस क्लास और डिराइव्ड क्लास के केस में कॉल करेंगे तो व्हाट विल बी द सीक्वेंस ऑफ execution of catch blocks. Okay, so this was the example of inheritance when we are having base class or derived class as exceptions. Or we can also create our user defined exceptions also. We will understand this with the help of example. So let's see, we have a simple user defined exception. In previous lecture also I discussed about the various exception functions which are associated with this class. See, exception is a built-in class inside your object oriented programming, as it is included here also. So we can also create our own exception from, or we can derive one class from that exception class also in this manner. This is my own class which I am creating for the exception, and this is the base class. In this class I have created one function what, which will return a constant pointer of character type, and it is throwing the and it is throwing an exception with, and it is defining no type here. So it will return just a message attempted to divide by 0. So in main function, actually this was the class, this was my class. In main function I have written try function. So जो डिवाइड बाय ज़ीरो वाला जो प्रोग्राम था उसको हमने इस यूज़र डिफाइंड फंक्शन के अंदर लिखा है. यहाँ पर ट्राई ब्लॉक में दो वेरिएबल ले लिए x और y, उनको इनपुट कराया. देन इफ़ y इज इक्वल टू 0 देन माई एक्सेप्शन z. It will create the object of my exception, which is the z. I think name is different here. Yes. So if y is equal to 0, then my exception creates an object, and it will, besides creation, it will throw the exception for the z. And if it is not equal to 0, then it will simply perform divide operation. Then for this throw we have written one catch block also, in which the base class is having its own object. This exception is the base class, you can say, or my exception is the derived class which I have created and which I have derived from the exception. Then it is calling e dot what function, which I have written in that class. Okay, so because it is in the derived class, it can get called also. We are deriving that my exception class from the exception, क्योंकि उस क्लास में से हमने इसको डिराइव किया है. ये बेस क्लास है और हमारी माई एक्सेप्शन ये डिराइव क्लास है, तो इसका फंक्शन हम कॉल करा सकते हैं विद द हेल्प ऑफ बेस क्लास ऑब्जेक्ट. So when I run this program, on the first run it will produce normal output, or on the second run, if it encounters denominator as 0, it will produce the error or exception. So let's run this program on the editor. First of all, run this program. So it is asking for a number to enter, 6, and then enter. If I place 0 for the second one, then it will show the attempted by 0. How this program is getting executed, we need to see that. So first of all, compiler will look for the main function. It will ask for the two values, and if the denominator, that is y, is equal to 0, then it will create the object of my exception z. So my exception is derived from the exception. So what is a function here to display some message that will inform you that exception has occurred, or it will show the appropriate message in that case. So it returns the constant character pointer. This is what function always. This is a part of the exception base class. So it is on this creation of this object, it is throwing the exception for this object as well, and if it is not equal to 0, then the normal function will be followed. So when it encounters that there is an exception, denominator is equal to 0, it will get onto this catch block. So in this block we have created one base class object, and we have passed that object as the reference. So it is calling e dot what. So this function is simply displaying this message, and rest of the function is done by this particular if statement. So if statements, through if statements also we check some conditions also, and similar as exceptions we write in the catch block, or if and else statements help a user to check whether there is an exception or not inside the program. So there are two functions also. Not all the errors, not all thrown errors can be caught and successfully dealt with the some catch block, or in such situations the best way to handle an exception is to terminate the program. कुछ situations में हमें program terminate भी करना पड़ जाता है जब ये possible नहीं होता that program with the help of that catch block can handle that exception properly. So unexpected and terminate, दो सब special library functions हैं हमारे पास जो कि इस काम में help करते हैं. And when a function with an exception specification throws an exception that is not listed inside the exception specification, so the function void unexpected is called. जब आप एक्सेप्शन स्पेसिफिकेशन देते हो और वो आपके कैच के साथ कब मैच नहीं होती है, तो उस केस में अनएक्सपेक्टेड फंक्शन कॉल होता है। ये जो अनएक्सपेक्टेड फंक्शन कॉल है दैट इज स्पेसिफाइड बाय द सेट अंडरस्कोर अनएक्सपेक्टेड फंक्शन which is a built-in function. By default, unexpected function calls the function terminate. So when this situation unexpected को call करने की ज़रूरत पड़ती है by catch block, then it will in turn call the terminate function. So in some cases also exception handling mechanism fails and a call to void terminate is made. Then this terminate function call occurs in any of these situations, like if terminate is explicitly called, अगर यूज़र ने स्पेसिफिकली एक्सप्लिसिट कॉल किया है अपने प्रोग्राम में टर्मिनेट फंक्शन को, तब टर्मिनेट कॉल होगा। व्हेन नो कैच कैन बी मैच्ड टू अ थ्रो ऑब्जेक्ट, जब मैंने बताया था आपको अबॉर्ट हो जाता है प्रोग्राम, तो वो हमारा अबॉर्ट मतलब रुक जाना, तो वहाँ पर टर्मिनेट फंक्शन कॉल होगा उस केस में। जब थ्रो ऑब्जेक्ट और कैच ब्लॉक जो हमने नीचे लिखा है वो मैच नहीं होते, उस केस में हमारा टर्मिनेट कॉल होगा। व्हेन द स्टैक बिकम्स करप्टेड ड्यूरिंग द एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग प्रोसेस, जब हमारा जो स्टैक जहाँ पर हम वेरिएबल्स को इनपुट आउटपुट कराते हैं वो हमारा जब करप्ट हो जाता है, उस केस में हमारा एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग प्रोसेस जो है वो टर्मिनेट फंक्शन को कॉल करता है। व्हेन अ सिस्टम डिफाइन अनएक्सपेक्टेड, in that case also terminate function call. So this function calls a function specified by the set underscore terminate function. By default, terminate calls abort in turn and which exits from the program. So terminate abort को call करेगा, हमारा program फिर उसके बाद रुक जाता है. So this is the syntax to call the unexpected function. We can also implement our own unexpected function. If we do so, we must ensure that the unexpected does not return normally, and it can terminate the program, for example, by calling terminate, or it can throw an exception also. So if your unexpected function throws an exception that is not listed inside the function specification, a new exception of type bad exception is created. This is a type which is already defined built in inside the exception class. So this type of exception is called and it will be thrown automatically. अगर आपका कोई भी जो है अनएक्सपेक्टेड फंक्शन है वो ऐसे एक्सेप्शन को थ्रो करता है जो कि फंक्शन स्पेसिफिकेशन में है ही नहीं. Okay, so if the function's exception specification does not list bad exception, the terminate is called automatically. So in any case, अगर आपका जो या तो कैच नहीं मैच होता है थ्रो ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ, उस केस में टर्मिनेट हो जाएगा कॉल. या फिर आपने कोई कैच ब्लॉक नहीं लिखा है लेकिन आपने थ्रो ऑब्जेक्ट कर रहे हो, स्पेसिफिकेशन मैच नहीं हो रहे हो, in that case also terminate will get called. In other words, you can say if a function has an exception specification, it is guaranteed that only the specified exceptions can be thrown out of the function, or else the application will be terminated. So, see, I have included here multiple examples. ये सब टॉपिक्स हम प्रीवियस वीडियो में कर चुके हैं. एक प्रोग्राम में मल्टीपल कैच हो सकते हैं, एक प्रोग्राम में हम जेनेरिक कैच ब्लॉक भी बना सकते हैं विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस सिंटेक्स. ओके, रीथ्रोइंग का मैंने एक और एग्जांपल यहाँ पर ऐड किया और स्पेसिफाइंग एन एक्सेप्शन का भी मैंने एक एग्जांपल ऐड किया है. सो आई वुड सजेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू रन ऑल दीज एग्जांपल्स एट योर ओन एंड लेट मी नो इफ यू फाइंड एनी एरर or if you face any problem in running these examples. You can change the input of these examples or the syntax or the logic if you feel so. Okay, so we will next begin with the next topic of unit 4, that is templates. Till then, take care. Thank you so much.